Myself up. Oh, I'm okay. I'm live on Facebook. That seems to be working. Now, let me see. I have a new software. I have no idea if this is working. So everyone bear with me. Now I'm gonna go live on Instagram. This is what exciting times, people. What a time to be alive. We up in here just start climbing Mount Everest. There we go. Checking connection. Oh my god. I don't know if I don't think I can see. Can anyone type something to see if I just if any of the comments are coming in? Now I broke my phone. Bear with me. It's really weird to watch. Oh, Luna. Hey, okay, so it's working. Thank you so much, Luna. Okay, I'll give a few more minutes for everyone. For everyone, like who even knows who is going to show up? If somebody's going to show up, um, sup Yoko. so, so for everyone who knows who Yoko Ono is, my fucking former guitarist calls me Yoko Ono. Thank you, Ashton. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, everyone. Okay, a few more minutes. Um, I sound so sick. I woke up. No, yesterday I had the first stuffiness coming up. And I'm like, I thought that people only in cold places can get a cold, right? Like that's why it's called a cold. No? Apparently no. And everyone kept explaining to me how people get the cold in warmer climates too, because the difference between the AC. And I'm like, that makes sense. However, I expect to get a cold in the actual summer here, not when we're closing down in temperature here in Arizona. Anyway, so what I send a voice note to my friends and they're like, you sound like you're crying. Um there's a lot of people trying to join. That's not going to happen. There's some stuff we need to talk about today. um I'm trying to pay attention to look at the camera instead of looking at myself. This is when professionals are doing a good job, when they're not constantly distracted by their own view in the camera, and are able to keep focused even though they watch themselves move around in the screen. Either sound or vision is behind. Not that I care. Planting. Rowan, you're. If the sound is behind, or if the noise is behind, or the vision, we'll just have to roll with it. Like there's nothing today. As well, not really having the mental capacity to be I don't know what to do. So bear with me today. Welcome everyone. I have my tea. For those who are new, I promise I don't sound like this always. I'm stuffed. Normally, I do not have an annoying voice like this. Normally, my voice is quite normal. Sometimes even pretty, because sometimes I sing. But right now, I sound really annoying, and I have to hold that for myself because I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed because I planned this whole this event where I'm going to be live. I'm going to be talking about something that's been on my mind for weeks, and now I'm like, God damn it. Should I have started talking about this earlier? Because now I am here with an annoying voice, and apparently visuals or sound being behind. It is what it is. We're embracing everything. This is hashtag Team No Delusion For anyone who's watching this in hindsight, I will not be editing, just like my video podcast. I'm not editing anything. I'm not participating in this Hollywood idea that everything needs to be specific, like special and glamored and polished and like flawless. This is not it. If you want polished, if you want flawless, you are in the wrong space right now, because you will not find that here. Again, team no delusion. This is where we're at. For those who don't know me, or for those who do know me but love my long ass intro, it's your favorite opinionated cunt whore, dominatrix friend, money witch, demon whisperer, alleged demon queen, 5%er, business bitch, fake witch, apex predator, most emotional dominatrix, mental ninja, self-care specialist, gratitude guru, little driving babushka, professional Slavic American, premium ovulating sloth, adaptive astronaut, unconventional wealth weaver, human hurricane, luck magnet, and the embodiment of Cain. Wink, wink. Oh, and someone dubbed me a new one, which is goddess of winners. Like, yo, I humbly, and very graciously accept that title. It's your goddess of winners. It's me. And I wanted to touch on something. Well, I wanted to touch on several things today. But I wanted to start off by prefacing this conversation of a very prolific experience that I had during a hike many moons and many years ago, when I was yay high, which is basically like 2 weeks ago, right? And those who kept asking me, how long have I been rehearsing these titles? 0 times. They all started gradually. It all started with your professional opinionated Slav, professional opinionated dominatrix, and it kept adding. So there's no need to practice, because that's just like telling your story in hindsight. You don't have to practice telling your story in hindsight, because it's in you. You are the story. Goddess of winners. Yes, yes. So anyway, I want to sketch. I want to create. I want to paint the picture. I want to paint the scene. I am in a northern state. I want to say Washington state. I'm on a hike of like 8 hours. I'm on a hike that is planned for like 8 hours, maybe even 10. I am not fit at this point in my life. I'm having horrible knee troubles, and I am planning to do this hike. And it's a hike that goes like this, which is going to be part of the story. And, I have to leave at like 6 a.m., which is already not a thing, like not a good thing for me. I'm not a morning person. And coming upon the parking lot in the trailhead, you know how you have kind of like these, I don't want to say problems, but you have these things that just don't flow smoothly. And a lot of things just kind of like annoyance, right? Like the parking ticket is not working, the original parking lot being closed, but I am determined. I am going to do that hike that day. And back then, again, this is a long ass time ago. So internet wasn't as big as it is right now, right? Where there's millions of apps, millions of reviews of and like everyone's communicating online about the best way to get to that trail or walk that trail, what you need to think of. Like, this is prior big internet. So anyway, I am determined. I'm going to do that trail. I'm going to make that climb. And after the initial annoyance, I'm off to walk. Děkuji, Katko. So I'm off. Usually people who know me, who have hiked with me, I like to hike with no sound in, or with one ear in, and maybe like a podcast, preferably like not music, because I like to be present. Anyway, so I'm going in. And this is I want to say it's like a 5 hour climb, 3 hour decline, something like that. From the little things that I could find about the trail, it's something like the climb is really fucking steep. It'll take you significantly longer than going down. Um, but just be prepared, have your hydration, have your food, whatever. So I'm an hour in, and the first signs of bodily, mental, and physical discomfort are showing up. The first whispers of doubts are showing up, where the conversation starts to be like, was this a good idea? Like, this might be a little bit over your head, and you know how it goes. But I can kind of wave them off because it's just the beginning. I'm fresh of winnership and championhood and all these words that I'm just making up on the spot. And I keep going. I try to be present. Now, as me is bad in this time of my life, or at least it's in one of my worst places. I'm not really fast. People are passing me. All good. Now, I'm 3 hours in. The hike is right now a climb like this. The whispers and the conversation of inner doubt start to significantly increase. Now, the whisper starts to be like proper dialogue and conversation, perhaps even screams along the lines of, what the fuck were you thinking? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why do you always have to have these obnoxious, wild, and crazy and big ideas? Why do you always have to be so extra? Why, etc., 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 right? Like the list is now going on a little horse tornado, aka carousel, in my head, going my bodily sensation, my bodily pain, my bodily discomforts are now increasing too. And I'm like, fuck. I look at my watch. I'm 3 hours in, 3.5 hours in, and the desperation, the sadness, the disappointment, everything is starting to kick in. There's no escaping my inner demons. There's no escaping my inner dialogue. But all I just knew is that I didn't have to go at any speed. I just wanted to do that trail. And I'm a fucking stubborn motherfucker. Like when I have my mind set on things, I can do them, perhaps while complaining all the time. Specifically when I was younger, perhaps while bitching all the time. Specifically, if you've ever been my personal trainer, you know how much I will bitch at you while doing the exercises completely perfect. So I had just determined, once in a lifetime opportunity, we're doing this. And by we, I mean me and all the inner demons. I'm not a schizo, I promise. Anyway, so I'm climbing, and all I can think of is all the books I've read, the winners I've heard talk ever in life, is don't worry about the end. Just take one more step. And right now, I'm present in the body, and all I am doing is just taking one more step, being observant of how my mind, like mental clutter, is responding to that, as well as the pain in my body, navigating whether it's the, okay, you really need to stop kind of pain, or I'm just really uncomfortable kind of pain, because that's a thing, right? I notice people are passing me. Excuse me, on your left. And I make way because it's a small trail. And that's when magic starts happening. It's as if the universe co-conspires, as if my army of momentum has heard my internal scream for support or help, and everything changes. Every time a person passes me, they pause. I'm going to cry right now. They pause. They notice I'm having a hard time, not even physically, right? I'm mentally going through hardship. They pause and they go like, are you okay? Checking in on you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just having a hard time. They go, how can I support? Do you have your water? Do you need me to walk with you for a little while? Are you physically okay? I'm gonna cry right now. Most emotional dominatrix, right? And this keeps repeating itself. So I end up, some people end up walking with me for 20 minutes. Some people accept my, no, I'm good. Thank you so much for seeing me though. And they continue their own way. And some people who end up walking with me in complete silence, right? Just sometimes checking in. And no, and I am noticing my waves of like immense gratitude of like these, almost like these fucking spirits or angels being sent from wherever to come and help me and come and support me in my quest. And some of them share their own story of like, I've walked this trail, or I've done this and this and this trail, and it was so fucking hard. And this, it's like they can read my mind, and they're just sharing stuff that is the exact theme that I'm currently dealing with in that exact moment. I'm telling you, if there's something like pronoia, right, which is like the opposite of paranoia, pronoia being the idea that the universe conspires in your favor. If there's something like that actually existing, that was the epitome of it. That was the exact situation where all of that happened, where all the gods, demons, spirits, universes all collided to support me in this, what seemingly is a simple thing, right? It's just a trail, it's a hike, it's a hard hike, but it's not this big fucking quest of, I'm trying to become a, world famous rock star. No, it's a tiny thing in the speck of humanity. It's a tiny thing, but it's of great importance to me. And I noticed that so I'm 3.5 hours in, right? Two people, if I remember correctly, walk with me twice, like 20 minutes. Some people stay with me just for a few minutes, check if I'm okay. Other people pass me. The community on these hard trails, I wish I could gift that community to people and gift it to people in like a Christmas present. People connected to each other, complete fucking strangers checking in with each other, giving each other words of affirmation is such a gift, right? So here are people passing me and be like, you got this. And you good? You have your water? Okay, see you at the top. And again, the people are like, you good? Want me to walk with you? And even noticing within myself, right, as a hyper independent person, to be like, I would really appreciate if you just would walk with me just for a minute, not wanting to be a burden, because that's one of my bigger inner demons, right? Not wanting to be a burden, but accepting people wanting to show up and seeing the bliss in people's eyes when I said, yes, I would love if you just stay with me just for a few minutes. I'm going to cry. See, I'm trying not to cry, because if I'm going to cry, my snot is going to get even worse, and I don't want that. So imagine me crying right now. Um, a little side note, a few weeks ago when I posted about this on Facebook too, I shared the story where I go to Whole Foods here in Scottsdale, and I see one of my, favorite people of Whole Foods. He's struggling with the carts in the parking lot. And I yell at him, yo, do you need help? And he goes, I don't need help, but I will accept help. And that was such a mind fucking blowing thing, right? For us hyper independent people, or people that do feel like a burden or too much, that I don't need help, but I will accept help, was such a life changing phrase for me that I had to put it in right now. And I make it to the top. I make it to the top, and there were parts, right? In hindsight, there were parts where I was able to like sturdy walk up, tak, 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 tak. There were moments where I was just like catching breath, because my lungs were about to fucking explode. And there were other moments where I had to stretch in place on the long side of the trail because my knee was hurting me. Um, and I just needed to catch a breath and not forcing myself to kind of like boulder through like that true like hustle and grind, but be like, I can catch a breath. Catching breath does not mean losing. Catching breath does not mean quitting. I'm just pausing in place. And I'm still, before we go to the Mount Everest again, I'm gonna keep crying. Um, and I hope, like with everything and with every fiber that I am, with every cell in my being, I hope that all those people that showed up that day in perhaps such a simple way, I hope that they have the fucking best life, that they're blessed with grace, love, money, health everywhere they go, with smiles, affection, and love everywhere they go, simply for how they showed up in such a simple way for me that day. And coming, arriving at the top, it originally is a 4-part trail. You can make it a 4-day trail. Um, I'm just visiting the States. I have a tight schedule, so there's no multi-day thing for me, nor would I ever be even probably like capable of doing that at that time in my life. But I'm at the top, and it's breathtaking. It's what fairy tales are made of. It's what every introduction of every movie where the camera flies around starts with. I can hear music like a soundtrack playing around me, and I am flooded with the sense of gratitude, with the sense of accomplishment, with the sense of I fucking did this. I fucking made it. I made it. Screw you, all your fucking inner demons. Screw you, all the external voices that I have adapted as inner demons. Screw all the doubts. Screw the, like, anything. I fucking made it. I feel invincible. And I bask in that feeling. And again, I sit on the floor and I touch the floor and I connect to the fucking earth. I'm going to go a little spary weary on you. And I'm just so grateful. And what a gift. And it's kind of cold at this point because I want to say it's like fall, and fall is getting kind of chilly in the northern states, right? So it's not that I can stay forever. And, light is shorting, daylight is shorting. So I need to be really present, and I managed to be really present, take pictures, look around, say my grace. I do a meditation, and I start my way back, which um, uses a complete different muscle group, right? When you hike back. And that's when the journey started. Because now as ascending English, as I am descending, I bump into people who I see visually are having a hard time. Some of them it's because this is out of their physical fitness. Others, it's because they're inner demons, and you can tell when you look at people when they're battling, when they're having a whole war of inner demons. And now I get to pay it forward. So upon me descending, I'm with all of the people that are having a hard time. Are you okay? You got your water? You got food? You need to take a breather together? And the relief and the gratitude and the connection of the people that just felt seen at that moment. What a fucking gift. What a gift to both of us. Because I am flooded with energy. I could hypothetically walk this mountain 5 more times. I'm good. I'm flooded with accomplishment. I'm flooded with connect. Like, I got this. So I am over flooding, and I got more than enough to give. So upon descending, I end up sometimes pausing with a bunch of people, sometimes just having a simple chit chat. Where are you from? How you doing? Did you like it? Have you been here? Epic. And there's been two, ironically two again, where I pause with and we sit for like 5 minutes, take a breather, and we're just present. We just are. We just be. No me needing to rescue them. No me needing to do like some kind of supportive talk. I'm just being, and we part our ways. And funnily, I have made a bunch of friends that day on the trail that I still am in touch with today, and I will send them this recording today afterwards because most of them are not on social media, and those are people that I've met many years later, um, and we refer back to the story because for them it was such an easy thing because they are much more experienced hikers, and for me it was such an important, like, life changing lesson and moment, and I get to reflect that back to them for someone who for it was just a simple check-in and a connection, right? And now I want to touch on the Mount Everest of life. And for those who have heard me talk prior, whether it being on social media or in videos or in posts, or they've heard someone else using metaphor and referring to me, I believe that life is a never ending Mount Everest climb. And it's so easy in a digital space and in a digital time like this to get so worried and occupied why we're not walking fast enough up on that Mount Everest, why there's others passing us, and there's still so much to climb. And I want to touch base, pun intended, on this climb of Mount Everest. And I want to use this story as a reflection of the climb of Mount Everest in our life. First of all, gift yourself the grace of pausing for a second on your climb of that Mount Everest. To take a breather, whatever your Mount Everest looks like. Are you chasing business goals, personal goals, fitness goals, music goals, accomplishment, motherhood, work, whatever it is? Can we just pause for a second, take a deep breather, and take the time to look back on the path we have walked thus far up the Mount Everest, up our Mount Everest of life? Can we take a pause and look at our footsteps and recognize that there's places on that trail that we have walked where it might look like we were running and we had like these epic like snow boots, and then there's going to be moments where it looks like and feels like we're crawling or just taking tiny steps, because life feels sometimes like we're climbing the Mount Everest in fucking flip-flops. And in this digital space where it's so easy to get distracted by all the flashy lights, by all the messages that are insinuating or that we are translating that you need to do better, you need to do faster, you need to do more, can we pause and acknowledge, honor our path that we've been walking? Can we acknowledge when we look back that whether we've been climbing for 2 weeks, whether we've been climbing for 2 months, whether we've been climbing for 2 years, whether we've been climbing for 20 years, it's still significantly further than where we started? And can we pause and acknowledge and respect ourselves for the fact that back there at base camp, 90% of the population remains stagnant. 90% of the population down there at base camp is theorizing on how they one day are going to climb the Mount Everest. They're complaining about, oh, look at these people walking up the Mount Everest. Did you see what they were wearing? They're criticizing those who are actually climbing. Oh, can you see how slow she is? Oh, can you see how fat her ass is? Can you see how blah, 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 blah. But the difference is you are actually climbing the Mount Everest. And they, down there at base camp, are only talking about it. And as we climb our own Mount Everest, we will notice that some people pass us and be like, oh shit, whew, that person is significantly faster. And I want to actively emphasize on the invitation of acknowledging their journey, because we have no idea what pre-work they had to do to get that fast. And then there's going to be moments in our journey when we pass others. And just the simple presence of us walking our own path can be an affirmation, a confirmation to others, just like us witnessing others, even if they're faster, might be a confirmation or affirmation that we are on the right path. And there's going to be moments, again, where you just have to pause, where you just have to set up your tent and camp out, where you just have to take a breather. And in the world, and it's so easy to get caught up in this, like, you need to do more, you need to do faster, you need to hustle and grind, hustle and grind. Don't get lost in the hustle and grind. Hustle and grind is the same polarity of the love and the gaslight community, who's all about energy but no execution, whereas the hustle and grind is only execution and no energy. And you'll have to find the balance for yourself, right? There's going to be, when I'm like ovulating, I'm like up in my energy, I can climb the Mount Everest at the speed of light. And then there's going to be moments when I'm probably menstruating, where I'm like, might take a little breather, might just flip flop. And then there's going to be a moment when external things happen and I'm like, okay, can I stay true to my path, to my speed, and to my flip-flopping, with the acceptance that it doesn't matter where others are in the journey. Others people place on the Mount Everest is completely irrelevant, because it doesn't matter how I compare myself to the fellow climbers. I still have to climb my own path. And as you climb the Mount Everest of life, right, you will notice like these tiny ass dots in the distance, tiny. And you're like, oh my God, I think that's a human. Holy shit. You grab out your symbolic binoculars and you're like, oh, I'm pretty confident that's actually a human. Holy shit, someone's climbing all the way up there. That's so fucking cool. And you get a little bit of hope. You get a little bit of confirmation. You get a little bit of affirmation that if those people out there, those tiny dots all the way in the distance, can climb the Mount Everest, then perhaps so can you. Distracted by the Mount Everest people at the base camp who are complaining, who are talking, hola Uriel, guapísimo. Let's not get distracted, because their laughter can be really loud. Their Criticizing can be really loud, but let's remember, who do we accept criticism from? And I've made this comment many, many, many times, and people have fucking butchered me for this online. So I will elaborate on it. I will bring the nuance a little bit in today. I only accept advice from people who, at some level of life, reflect something that I admire. Brutally honest, I'm not taking diet advice from morbidly obese people. I'm not taking financial advice from people who are beyond debt, who don't have the life receipts of being able to cultivate or create money, right? I'm very deliberate who I accept advice from. That doesn't mean that I can connect with you. That doesn't mean that I don't love you, etc., etc. But the same goes for the criticism. And the phrase that pissed the internet off beyond any and all measure was, I only accept insults from people within my tax bracket or higher. People got really upset. You and your money stuff. I'm like, no, no, no. This is the thing. Money, people who are fellow entrepreneurs, they would never try to insult or criticize. They will always try to fucking uplift, because they are so extremely aware of their climb on the Mount Everest that they will do everything in their power to acknowledge, honor, respect, support those who are also climbing at whatever fucking speed. So when your comparison demon, inner demon, starts yapping at you, oh, look at them going fast, look at them, it looks so much easier, and oh my God, I bet that person has never had hardship in their life. How else would they have such an easy time climbing up the Mount Everest of life? Sit that motherfucker down. Matter of fact, as per usual, as my rudest or diest Elizabeth says, drop that inner demon off in a bad neighborhood with the 1% phone and drop him off. He's not driving along in the car of life, even though we're walking up the Mount Everest. Because no matter how little or much hardship others have, it will not change our own pace of the Mount Everest. And if you, at any moment in life, feel like discouraged, or the inner demon has taken over and it's all like, oh, it's not worth it. Like I said, it's not worth it. What were you thinking? Why you got to be extra? You and your crazy ideas. You have never finished anything. This is also gonna be a but Ooh, the tongue of the inner demons gets so swiftly and sexy, trying to convince you of it, the inner demon's necessity, right? Just take a break. Just pause. On a practical level, obviously, self-care. Self-care makes you a millionaire. We are rich and hydrated. But pause and reflect back on your journey. See how many steps you have taken, whether those are 20 steps, 200 steps, 2,000 steps, or 20,000s. You got this. Yes, Kirsten has a great point. Comparison is a mind fuck, choosing to belittle or to place them on a pedestal as untouchable. Both don't change our own paths. And even the comparison, I have to be wary of this myself a lot, because I feel this is very prevalent in online spaces and very little in real life, where online spaces have become this, oppression Olympics, right? Or this victim Olympics. Oh, but that person didn't have all the hardships I had, so therefore I'm like, okay. While those can be true, I don't see how that's relevant to your part, to your walk of the Mount Everest. Because let's say that person who just passed you on the climb of the Mount Everest, let's say that person had an amazing childhood, has the best gear to climb this environment, whatever that environment looks like. Let's say that that person had all the support from all his or her loved ones and all the money, and he rested and slept well and felt good about life, and it was just like he was so empowered to climb that Mount Everest of life. Okay, let's say it's really unfucking fair. How far have you gotten now that we have acknowledged that that other person didn't have the hardships that we had? So I'm starting to feel tired. I'm starting to feel extremely snotty. So I'm gonna close off with the invitation of the Mount Everest. If you feel discouraged, if you feel like you're not walking fast enough, if you feel like you're not even walking up the right mountain. Oh, wait, let me fucking talk about that. You know, the Mount Everest, if you've never looked up the Mount Everest, please do me a favor and Google it right now on another device or at some point today. Google the Mount Everest. Look at how massive it is. And look how there are different trails up the Mount Everest. So if you feel like your path is kind of going like kind of crooked and everyone's going kind of straight or taking other paths, you good. Just pay attention to your path. And maybe there's going to be times where you might have kind of like angled to a different direction. Let's not do the self-destructive thing where it's like, well, you know, I went 2 degrees in a different direction. This is all useless. Might as well just finish right now. This is not going to work. Let's course correct. Again, you're still so much fucking further than when you've started. It will never be a linear line. It will go like this. And practicing of holding that tension, hold the fucking line. Y'all remember? We're holding the fucking line here of where the inner demons, the comparison, the criticism, whether internal or external, start yapping and yelling at us. We're holding the line. We're holding the remembrance of what the goal is. And we're flip-flopping step by step. If it gets too hard, I keep forgetting to make it a full circle. If it gets too hard, no need to be like, okay, I'm quitting. You're just pausing. You're just taking a breather. And if you need some extra affirmation, confirmation, feel even free to ask anyone who's passing you. Feel free to physically write down and take notes of what you have walked, whether that is in flip-flops, whether that's in high-end woohoo snow boots. Take a breather. You got this. There's a whole world of fellow Mount Everest flip-floppers / climbers who are walking symbolically and physically alongside of you and who have your back, whether that's verbally, vocally, or just on an energetic sense. At the top is the winner table. And it does not matter how long it'll take you to get at the winner table. The winner table will always be evolving. The winner table will always be changing, because once you reach that winner table, you might find yourself like, oh my God, I want to go to another newer winner table. Or you might be like, life is good. I'm staying here. This is a nice place. Reminder, you made it to the top, and the top can extend or end however you see fit. Depending on some characteristics, I'm guessing that most people will extend the Mount Everest and be like, this was great, going to the next top. But growth starts with gratitude. We're breathing, we're pausing. I'm starting to feel complete. I hope y'all got anything from this, from me sharing the story. If this feels solid for you, close off right now. I'm just going to be sharing a little bit on what I'm offering right now, and I feel very uncomfortable about sharing what I'm offering, not because it's not awesome, because I don't want things to make it feel like a fucking sales event, because that was not the intention. But alas, here we are. I have the Winner Circle membership. I have the Winner Circle membership where we have 4 meetings a month: a self-care session, a money meeting, a gratitude gathering, and a future folding. And there's going to be some more. I have my Dom course. I have the blood coats with Jesse. I have my magical rituals. Please, wherever you are, random, like, strangers have been sharing their winnings with me, and I love it so fucking much. I will always be here, whether I know you forever, whether we've had our troubles in the past, or whether you've hated me, or perhaps vice versa. If you come at me in my inbox and tell me, yo, I need to share this win with you, I will sit with you. I will celebrate with you. Like, I will pause my day and I will celebrate with you, because what a fucking gift. And I see a friend, like, I'm trying to see behind the camera. Rowan, he got a house, 665 days sober, and a baby on the way. Fucking winner table. Fucking winner table. If I see how far he has come from, I'm not going to share the details, but fucking proud. If you have done the hard thing today, regardless of how hard that thing was today, I am fucking proud of you. If you are in your sprinting up the Mount Everest today, I am fucking proud of you. If you're flip-flopping up the Mount Everest, I am fucking proud of you. If you're pausing, taking a breather, and acknowledging your path, I am fucking proud of you. See you at the top of the Mount Everest winner table, all of the analogies, and I'll see you online.